Toy Story 5 is corporate propaganda disguised as a kids' movie. But before we get into that, let's talk about the emotional core and the philosophy of Toy Story 5. Now, Toy Story has always been a series about heartfelt and really impactful messaging throughout its entire four-movie run, with the first one reflecting on Woody, who learns to share the spotlight, just as kids need to learn to share their toys. The second is about living your life, not being forced away in a box and truly going out there and building emotional connections, even though you're worried that they might hurt you one day. The third movie is about learning to let go, passing on what you learned to the next generation, and perfect as an ending to the series. But, they continued because cha-ching. And the fourth is learning about your self worth. That even though after you've retired from being a toy, you can still have worth because love is always worth something. And that brings us to Toy Story 5, Pixar's latest movie in the Toy Story series. And I gotta say, the heartfelt philosophy that Toy Story 5 brings is beautiful. I actually loved it. I love the messaging that the movie was trying to say with defining what friends are. At the very beginning of the movie, Jessie tells Lilypad, the antagonist tablet of the film, that Bonnie, this shy, introverted kid who is really awkward at times, needs to have more friends. And Lilypad says, I'll just send friend requests. Boom, boom, boom. And there you go. She's got friends. At that very moment, Jessie's like, where are they? They're not here. They're not friends. And I think that is the heart of the movie. Toy Story 5 is telling us that friends, as a definition, only exist when they are present. Whether that's physically, meaning in the same room, or mentally, engaging with you, actually being there presently to talk to you, to interact with you, to connect with you. And that is why when Bonnie goes to the slumber party and every kid is just on their tablets, they are not her friends because they are not there mentally. They're there physically, but they're not present mentally for Bonnie. They're stuck in their own technology and completely distant from the world. This comes to light at the very end of the movie where Buzz and Woody are there for Jessie. And to be honest, the other toys in the main series are completely sidelined, tossed in the box, and said, hey, do nothing, you're fine. But Buzz and Woody are the best examples that the movie showcases that friends are there for you. They are there. They make the whole journey, riding all those horses to get to Jessie, to be there for her. They are there for her mentally. They are there for her physically. They are just present in her life. And that is what friends are. Any person you interact with, as long as you are there presently and there as a friend, you will change their life for the better. And that is shown when Jessie sees the photograph of her old owner and her new daughter, who she lovingly named Jessie after the toy, even though they haven't seen each other for years, even though Jessie thought she forgot about her. The truth is that Jessie and the love that they shared had such a strong impact that it affected the course of her entire life. And that is the heart of the movie. That is the philosophy of the movie. Being there for each other is what we need right now, where technology and so many things changing the world want to separate us. We're not supposed to be separated. We're supposed to be there for each other and be there presently to grow together. And that is beautiful. I was bawling at that moment where Jessie finds that photograph, and that was the heart of the movie, and I loved it. That being said, this movie had a very corporate problem, and it's present in a lot of Pixar movies these days. Even though so many people fall in love with these movies, they are taking a very mild and moderate stance with many of the socio-political issues that it's addressing. One of them being technology for children. The movie starts off with a brilliant premise. Devices and technology are invading the world. All the children are being a part of it. And to be honest, that echoes AI, where people are pushing AI down our throats. Corporates are like, you like AI, you will love it, you will need it in your phone, search engine, everything. We're gonna give it to you with AI because you need it. And then everyone is just adopting it. And you're like, oh crap, like I gotta get with the times. Like everyone's doing it, might as well do it too, right? And that's what everyone feels like in this movie, because everyone's on devices and they're all numbed out. They're not present anymore. So the antagonist is Lilypad, a device made by a corporation for children. And with the entire movie, it is just sad to see Bonnie, this shy, introverted kid, unable to make friends and being sucked into a device and living in the virtual world rather than finding love and connection in the real world. And that's very sad, very sad. But Disney makes the choice to make Lilypad have a lot of empathy for Bonnie. In fact, a lot of guilt for choosing the wrong friends for her. Now, this is not a problem inherently with a lot of villains where they find redemption arcs or they find themselves wrong in their methods. Even though they had a noble cause, they might have gone about it all wrong. And that is totally fine. But the problem is, Lilypad is the personification of technology, and in fact, corporate technology. So the fact that Lilypad has empathy reinforces the idea that the problem isn't technology, it's how you are using the technology. And I feel like that's the core message of the movie. It is not, hey, reject the force feeding of technology in your life, but learn to manage it. And as my wife lovingly put it, she related it to alcohol. Yes, a lot of people drink alcohol, and there's not a problem with drinking alcohol, especially in moderation. But the problem is, who decides what moderation is? People have different weight classes, people have different medical conditions, people have so many other issues when it comes to alcohol that you can't just force feed people alcohol, right? They need to fully decide what is the healthiest route for them. But with technology, it says, everyone get with the times. You're going to have technology force fed down your throat, but you are going to have to figure out how to moderate it. And that is a tough situation, especially nowadays with AI, children on chat apps without parent supervision, children on internet forums. Like, there's so many problems with children being unsupervised on the internet. So the main message of the movie is, hey, they're going to learn to connect and do everything in person and with technology. So just moderate it. But the problem is, the movie doesn't tell you how to moderate technology. The movie tells you that it is okay that you are using technology. They don't tell you how to use it. And I think that is a huge detriment to the movie, because this is targeted towards children, towards families. And Bonnie's parents are so inept at being parents, they do not handle any situation properly, that it's so frustrating. When Bonnie is cyberbullied by these so-called friends, what does she do? She pouts, she's sad, she cries, this is terrible, and she reluctantly shows her mom. Her mom doesn't instill any self-worth in Bonnie. She doesn't talk to Bonnie like a human being. She doesn't treat her with compassion, kindness. She doesn't have a heart-to-heart with her. She says, man, Bonnie, this is not great. Let's go get ice cream. And you don't see her interacting with the mom anymore. If you are going to force feed society this technology, and your solution is just do it in moderation, as if you're waving a magic wand to fix all your problems that you gave to the world, you have to own up to how you are going to moderate it. You have to take a stronger stance. You have to showcase the mom actually being there for Bonnie. You have to showcase how technology should be used. And they do that a little bit at the end, where they're taking pictures and they're remembering these moments that they have with each other with Bonnie and Blaze. But at the heart of the movie, it doesn't take a strong enough stance. Now, I don't want to be a completely Debbie Downer. I do think it is very corporate focused. It is trying to placate the audience. It's trying to fill them with a nostalgia for past events, a love for both friendships and technology. But at the end of the day, this is being force fed by a company that has huge stakes in technology, especially with AI. And as Disney itself fires animators, focuses on implementing different technologies like AI to reduce the amount of money they spend on actual artists, it is a shocking message to say in this movie that, hey, technology is good, but do it in moderation, like we're gonna do. Because we're gonna fire people. And turns out we're gonna give you some AI slop, some here and there, but we're gonna do it in moderation. It's like, you cannot say that. You cannot provide a message for children saying this is okay only if you do it the right way. Because there is no right way to do something that is going to harm hundreds of thousands of people. So that is why the movie is corporate propaganda. It has heartfelt messaging, but is mixed with a message that, hey, technology can be good sometimes, even though nowadays technology is being used for bad things all the time. And even though LilyPad can have empathy, the corporate shells that make this technology and are force feeding it into our society do not. They are just doing it for business profits. They don't care about people. They care about how much money they're going to make, and that's their bottom line. But as much as I can say that, the movie was still pretty good. I think in terms of movies, the Toy Story series has been declining in quality, with me actually liking 4 more after seeing 5, because 4 told a great story about finding self-worth in a time that is very hard to find self-worth. But another problem for this movie is it just felt dumber. Why did we introduce a bunch of Buzz Lightyears who are the upgraded version to turn out to be drones, which I thought was actually very funny. The whole movie was pretty funny, but they spent so much time on them, I thought they were going to be bigger in terms of character development, or to say like, oh, Buzz is outdated, these are the new technology Buzzes and stuff like that. But it doesn't say anything. It just used them entirely for a gag, and we were with them for like 10 minutes of the entire runtime. So it feels like, again, they are trying to implement their messaging, and the messaging of love and being present in someone's life is wonderful. But the problem is technology is the antithesis of that message. Being present in someone's life through the help of technology is good at times, but technology is designed with social media, with apps, with AI to pull your presence out of reality. And that is the biggest problem. There's 2 messages in this movie, and they're having tremendous friction with each other. They cannot say the same thing. And because of that, the movie's main messaging is weakened. And that is the problem with Toy Story 5. But enough about me. I want to hear what you all think about Toy Story 5 down in the comments. Do you agree with how I felt about it? Or do you have different opinions? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more. As always, check the links in my description for my main video essay channel and my Patreon to support the channel and recommend media for me to review next. Thank you to all my current Patreon members whose memberships keep this channel afloat. I am so grateful you are all here with me today. But that is all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.